Hey everybody, Alexi Neal here with Embodied Tarot and Healing, and today I want to share with you a little bit about what birth card medicine is and how it can help us and support us in our healing process and also just in our process of personal growth and authentic creativity. So, what birth cards are the cards that we come into this world with. The way I like to think of them is that these are the lessons that we are going to keep coming around to again and again and again. You know how it seems like there are just these overarching themes in our lives sometimes, where it's like, okay, I'm working with that lesson again. That is what birth cards point us towards. And what can be so powerful is that when we know what our birth cards are bringing to the table, then we can start to consolidate these experiences into patterns that help us to break through faster, that keep us out of that hamster wheel of just doing the same things over and over again, and actually help us to learn the lessons that we are here in this life to learn, so that we can actually create what is coming next for us, create what we are being called to create in this world. So, a little bit about how birth cards work. So it's based on numerology, where we take your birthday and we work with those numbers there in order to find your constellation. And the constellation that you are in has either 2 or 3 cards. And I just want to acknowledge, first of all, that much of my knowledge here is coming from my teacher, Lindsay Mack of Soul Tarot, and but the person that has laid a really strong foundation for both of us is Mary K. Greer, who's done just some fantastic work around that. That being said, there are pieces of Mary K. Greer's work and just so much honoring and respect to her that don't super resonate with me. So if you've heard of birth cards, you may realize this is slightly different. So anyway, jumping back in. These constellations have either 2 or 3 cards in them, and there's usually one card that is the soul card, the part that is most applicable to your life, and then the other 1 or 2 cards that are in that network are still really big influences, but it's a lot of how they relate with each other that can point us to how we can see these cards relating to our own life and our own processes. So with all of that being said, just want to share with you that at the $15 a month tier on my Patreon, not only will you receive your birth card reading, depending on what constellation that you are in, but you'll also receive every single month a little update, kind of like a horoscope, but using this numerology and using the tarot to tap in with what energies are in the world right now and how they might relate to this process of soul work and to doing the learning and the growth that needs to happen here. So what gets me so excited about this is that when we're continuously tapping into our birth cards, we're laying this really incredible foundation, right? And on top of that foundation, then we also have our year cards. And our year cards help us to hone in on okay, so I know that these are the themes that I am working with. Which, first of all, I think it's so important when we start to tap into this to acknowledge that it can be triggering. Let me just put that out there. It can be triggering to be told, whether it's by a reader or by anybody else, it can be triggering to be told this is your birth card. And therefore this is what you're going to deal with your whole life. And I want to also offer that the way that I view these birth cards is not as some sort of pre-written destiny, but as a guide map, as a way of being okay, yes, there are a lot of choices to make in life. What choices are going to be most in alignment, and how might you view the challenges that show up in life through the lens of these archetypes that the tarot has to offer us, okay? So then when we layer the year cards on top of this, now we're honing in every single year on, okay, this is the path. And so that can be a part of these readings as well. It's what's happening literally right now in this moment, what's happening this year, and what's happening in the grand scheme of our lives. So I really encourage you to look into birth card medicine, to join that $15 tier so you can start working with this on a month-to-month basis. The other thing that I will be offering each month for each different constellation of birth cards is not just to check in on like what might be happening right now given that constellation, but also some embodied practices so that you can actually ground into the particular energy that you're being invited to step into, because that's something that spirit always wants for us is growth. My teacher says this all the time. Spirit does not want us to be comfortable. Spirit wants us to grow. And this is just such a massive transformational tool for growth. So please feel free to send me a message if you have questions about what this looks like. I am here for you all. Bye, friends.